As members of St. Mark's, how are we spreading justice and love to the greater community?
The way that we have been spreading love is to care for our elderly in different ways, and to go out into the community and be with people, ask how we can pray for them, and just general caring of others.
I think a great example is them just reaching out to this other church to join. Each church has got something to give and something to offer to each other. I think we're having a chance to reach out and give them, love and compassion and help, and they're doing the same to us. I just think that it's a unique situation, but it's a fun situation.
I think we do a lot of great things going out into the community. We had our day of service back in, I think it was May, where we did so many things. We paid for people's laundry and we beautified people's yards and a variety of things. We also helped cook dinner at Primavera Men's Shelter. We have a great program with Nash Elementary School and Estes Elementary School. So I see a lot of us going out and being the hands and feet of Christ in the community.
Oh, that is our best thing, the way we spread love in the community. We have outreach activities here that people can join in anytime. But I've been on the missions committee ever since I joined St. Mark's, and our claim to fame is that we do a lot of outreach and missions in different places, from international to national to local. Our Nash Neighbors group is the most local one for us. We do food collections for ICS and lots of other things. I don't know that I could go to a church that was completely self-absorbed, so this is the place for us.
Give yourselves a hand. We are a church of compassion and community and justice and love. You can tell that by what our church members have said. This morning, as we turn to our scripture once more, we find Jesus eating. In Luke, he's always eating. We find him at the table. And today, joining him are two very different people. As we hear the story of these two different responses to Jesus, we hear an invitation to our own response to Jesus and to the world around us. Let us pray. God, we give thanks for St. Mark's, for the ways that we are a people of justice and love. We give thanks for the ways that we are in the community reaching out and inviting other people to a different life, to a little bit of a different way of living. God, thank you for the ways that we show mercy and compassion. God, as we come to scriptures today, as we sit at your feet, may my words be yours. May we each hear your message for us, that we might know how you're calling us to reach out into the community. In the name of Christ we pray. Amen. Well, let's set the scene, shall we? We're at Simon's house. Commentator William Barclay tells us that more well-to-do people like Simon would have houses that were built around an open courtyard in the form of a hollow square. There's a hollow square in the center, and the house was built all around it. Often the courtyard would have a garden in it with a fountain, and this is where meals were served during the warmer weather. When a rabbi came to dinner, everybody dropped in to listen to the pearls of wisdom that the rabbi might share. People would come and go as the meal went on. When a guest entered such a house for a meal, 3 things were supposed to happen. The host would put his hands on the shoulders of the guest and give him a kiss. This was a mark of respect and never omitted. Cool water was poured on the dirty and dusty feet of the guests who had walked over dusty roads to arrive. No sneakers, no pavement, dirty, dusty roads. Finally, a pinch of sweet-smelling incense was burned or a drop of rose oil placed on the guest's head. These things were good manners. You did this for your guests. After guests were greeted, they reclined at the table. They lay down on low tables on their left arm so their right was ready to eat, bare feet stretched out behind them. The scene is set. The table is full. Dinner is served. And the 2 players in our drama are there. Simon was a Pharisee. The Pharisees were those separated from the others. Why did he invite Jesus to come to dinner at his house? Our scriptures don't tell us why. We don't get an inside look at his thinking, so let's dream for a bit. Maybe Simon was really interested in what Jesus had to say. Not all Pharisees were enemies of Jesus. Maybe he was interested. Maybe he was trying to trap Jesus and get him to say something that he could use later to bring him up on charges. I don't like that option, though. He does call him rabbi, which was a sign of respect. Maybe Simon is interested in meeting this itinerant rabbi who was all the rage right now. He wants to be elevated to this new in his community by inviting the new guy to his house. He's collecting his encounters with the celebrities. He has to be seen with all the famous people. Who knows why Simon invites Jesus to dinner? But Jesus is there, reclining at the table, eating the meal, and our second player in the drama arrives. A woman. She's not just any woman, she's a sinner. This woman has no name here in Luke. Did you notice that? She's not a prostitute in Luke. She's merely a sinful woman. She actually has the posture of a woman who is mourning, with her hair down and tears in her eyes. Perhaps she has the posture of shame, with her hair down and tears in her eyes. We know she's a sinner, and everyone else knows it too. This sinful woman washes Jesus' feet with her hair. She begins with her tears. She kisses his feet. She anoints them with oil. This sinner, this woman, stands in stark contrast to Simon. Simon has missed the details that make him a good host. He didn't wash the feet of his guest. He didn't greet him with a kiss. He didn't anoint his head with oil. He skipped over the very things that would extend hospitality to Jesus. Maybe he was intentionally putting Jesus down. You're welcome to eat, but I'm not extending hospitality. Maybe they were such great friends that he didn't do those formal things. Who knows why? What we do know was that he invited Jesus to dinner and then was critical of the sinful woman who came into the dinner and did offer generous love. Our story today tells us a great contrast between the 2 attitudes of heart and of mind. Simon was conscious of no need. Simon felt no love. He received no forgiveness. He thought he was a good man and he didn't need what Jesus offered. The woman was conscious of nothing else other than the need to receive forgiveness from this man whom she'd likely heard speak from the edges of the crowd. She knew she was a sinner and she needed forgiveness. So with tears in her eyes, she washed his feet and she showed him love. Simon opens his mouth and reveals there's little hope of salvation or forgiveness. The woman weeps and reveals the depth of her love for Christ. In her adoration and worship of Jesus, she shows an extravagant love and a generous love for him. The woman shows Jesus great generosity. Today we turn our attention to the generous love and justice that we are called to offer to the world. As Christians who follow the example of Christ, we are invited to be generous with our love and justice as we encounter sinful women and pious men and sinful men and pious women in our world. God calls us to offer the world a vibrant, welcoming community. We are invited to shower compassion on a world that is hungry for relationships and for connection. We are invited to offer care to one another as we gather into this community, but our care should extend to neighbors near and far. We are called to create a compassionate community for everyone. Too often we are a little bit more like Simon, who wanted to keep the sinful woman out of the banquet. Too often we find ourselves forgetting that there are others out there who don't enjoy the many things that we enjoy in our compassionate community that we call the church. Every child of God deserves the opportunity to enjoy the gifts of the abundant life that Jesus offers. And so we strive here at St. Mark's to extend community and compassion to the world, infused with God's justice and love. In school, I fell in love with the prophets. Micah was my favorite prophet in college, and in seminary, I fell in love with Amos. The prophets often called the people to acts of justice and love, justice and kindness. Micah 6:8, the very end of this courtroom drama, is a great example of that. What does God require? The people ask. Burnt offerings, right rituals, the right activities? No. Micah 6:8 says, God requires us to do justice, to love mercy, to walk humbly with God. And Jesus sets the example that this love and this justice is for all. The pious Pharisee and the sinful woman. The forgiveness that he brings is for all. The woman got it. She understood it. She came to Jesus for forgiveness and received it. Simon didn't quite get it. I'd like to think he got it later, but not now. In this passage, he didn't understand yet. He was too caught up in the hypotheticals and not in real life. Have you ever noticed those hypotheticals? Have you ever noticed that we can get the idea of something right, but not get the doing of it right? We are really, really good at saying the right things at church, aren't we? But then having a hard time loving the people that are difficult to love. There's a woman who walks down River Road every morning. For 2.5 years, we have seen her on our way to school. Hat on, grocery bags in each hand, walking down the road from Craycroft towards Sabino Canyon. Some days, she's gotten an earlier start and she's actually on Sabino Canyon Road or Kolb or whatever it's called at that point. Other days we don't see her, but most days she's there. I've noticed lately that her bags are really raggedy. Her clothes seem torn. She barely seems to be covered. One day I saw her and she was sitting on the ground, seemingly picking up the things that had fallen from her bag. And I drive past. Again and again and again I drive past. Hypothetically, I know we need to love our neighbors. We need to show compassion and mercy. We need to offer relationships and community and compassion. How many times have I said that standing right here in this pulpit? And for 2.5 years, I've driven past this woman. Like Simon, we can answer right when it's a hypothetical. But when it's a woman walking down the road, our actions might be a little bit different. Like Simon, we don't think we're the prejudiced ones. Like Simon, we're not the problem. We are not racist. We are not sexist. We aren't too judgmental. But is that the reality? Jesus calls us to love our neighbor. Love your enemy. Be kind. Be generous. It's so easy to do when we sit here in our nice pews surrounded by people who smell nice. It's so much more difficult to do when it's a woman walking down River Road talking to herself. This sinful, tearful woman who washed the feet of the Savior was a sinner, an outcast in society, and Jesus forgave her sin and restored her life in an act of justice and love. I imagine that she was talking to herself too. I imagine her clothes might have been a little bit ratty. Maybe everything she had was in bags that she set at her own feet. Maybe she was a bit smelly too. She was an outcast in society, and Jesus said she loved generously. She gave love. We are called to do the same, aren't we? We get it right sometimes, don't we? On Friday, there's some of us from St. Mark's who are going to Nash Elementary School to have a trunk in their trunk or treat event. It's silly, really. We dress up, we decorate our cars, and we give out candy that no kid really needs. But this is a loving act as we offer a safe place for kids and families to come and just play. On Friday, we are offering a movie night here at the McGee campus, a drive-in movie. You don't have to have someone shorter than you to come to this drive-in. Come watch Casper the Friendly Ghost on the big screen. It'll be great. It's just a movie from the 90s, but it's inviting our community. It's inviting our families into a community of love and justice. It opens our arms wide to whoever shows up. On Saturday, we are going to offer our parking lot to agencies and groups who work for justice for our four-legged friends in this community. We're not even opening doors. Just come to the parking lot. Through Rummage for the Rescue, our parking lot will be in ministry as we help those who love and care for animals in our community to raise funds for their work. I'm sure we'll have bathrooms open for them. These are small ways that we are working for love and justice. On November 5th, we'll have a prayer service for the conflict in the Middle East, an act of justice and love for those that will never meet. These are all simple acts of justice and love. We have others we could name. Church and Society is going to invite us to acts of justice for our earth as we get closer to Earth Day in the new year. We're invited to acts of justice as we consider how we'll vote on every ballot item that we find. We work for justice as we support ICS and the food bank and even Market on the Move, which is coming back soon, by the way. Our list goes on and on. You heard some of the things on our screen. When we offer compassion and community and love to those who are on the margins of our community, we are coming closer to what Micah invites us to and what Jesus modeled for us. Friends, hear the good news this morning. When we speak up for the vulnerable, taking a stand on the side of justice and love, we are taking part in the mission of God in Jesus Christ. We are doing the beautiful work of building an abundant life for all. Next week is the end of our generosity campaign. We invite you to bring your pledge cards to worship next week. You can grab some from the back if you didn't get one in the mail or lost it. We invite you to be like the sinful woman who poured out what she had for Jesus. Please consider how you can give financially to the work of the church in the new year so that we might better bring about more acts of justice and love. Your generosity helps to further God's mission in this world for all people. But today I pray that we might all be a little more like the woman who gave generously for Christ, who poured out all that she had. May we be like Christ and welcome her with open arms. let us be a little less like Simon, who had a hard time being generous in real life. Amen and amen.